The Piper is a Korean horror mystery thriller that I picked up while on vacation at McKay's, which is a killer store if you're ever in Knoxville, Tennessee. You're the only 10 I see. I found the film on DVD for either a $1.99 or $2.99, I can't remember, but I thought it sounded pretty cool. Well, as I was digging through my tubs of films that I don't have space for on my shelves to get rid of some things, I apparently have already bought the film on DVD a while back. Oops. Well, let's finally watch this accidental double buy. Anybody else ever done that? Like accidentally bought the same movie twice without knowing you did? The Piper follows a father and son on a journey to get to a city to get his son medicine for his cough. Along the way, they stumble into a gated off village where things with the village are just kind of weird. It's got like a weird vibe. It's a weird place. The village chief lets them stay for a little while until the father figures out that the village has a massive, and I mean massive, rat infestation. The father offers up his services of playing his flute or pipe to drive the rats out, along with some powder rat repellents. During his operation, though, he befriends a lot of the villagers that once that was kind of guarded off to him, kind of now see him in high regards. This building a conflict in the village chief that no longer wants him there. I want to start off by saying that the plot description in the DVD cover completely spoils the end of the film. The entire film is centered around the mystery of the village. The description and artwork is literally the last 15 minutes of the film, which if you're going into the film not knowing anything about it, the film builds to this point to not really show or spoil anything. So I do feel like it kind of took away a little bit of the impact of the film by seeing the box art and reading the description. It's like the film was not crafted for that. The film is crafted in a way that it kind of puts you, the viewer, to kind of uncover what's happening at the village with the lead character, which leads to a pretty satisfying ending, but knowing what was going to happen because of the backs of the box art took away a lot from that scene. A lot of the film is just building the character of the village and the father and son. We spend a lot of time with them as they become a part of the village. The film's first two acts honestly kind of feel whimsical and lighthearted despite the darker underbelly of the film, which when the tonal shift of the film finally happens, it becomes kind of really screwed up. Like the tone gets really dark really fast and pretty unnerving. The film does have some weird moments where the film kind of sets up the father at the beginning to be somewhat of a loser and not really the best father, but that kind of feels like it was just set up to be a misdirect, but it did kind of start me off, the audience, of kind of not liking the father. This could kind of be a way to put the audience in the mind of a villager, but it was something that I kind of noticed. Going into the film expecting a horror film, I was really confused by the really hokey moments and the fact that the horror literally does not come out at all until the final act, which I know my review is kind of doing the same thing as the backs of the box art, but I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, if you read anything about this film or even watch any review, I'm sure it pops up. Most of the film is kind of a comedy that has a horror underbelly. Still though, kind of going into this film with a different set of expectations, I still had a really good time with this one. Surprisingly, some of the CGI rats looked way better than they had any right to be. Other times they look pretty goofy for sure, but I was surprised at some points by the CGI. The film looks great, from the cinematography to the village design to the gore effects. The musical choices were fitting, and I like the idea to include the flute or pipe into the score throughout the film. I will say I kind of wish they did it a little bit more and kind of leaned into it a little bit more. It felt like they weren't like fully going all in with that pipe and flute throughout the score, but it was a nice touch. All in all, this is a pretty solid mystery horror that I kind of wish I went into completely blindly, but maybe it's one of those ones that on a second viewing I'll have a much better experience with a completely different set of expectations. I still really enjoyed this one, and this is one that could go up or down on a second viewing, but I definitely recommend checking this one out, and I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 for now.